Time for Brawl! We're playing all the new Alchemy cards from Ixalan. We have Soul Scale Gnome. That's going to give us a bit of time, and our whole goal is let's make our opponents rage quit. We also have a vampire that can turn into Argyl's Bloodfast. Let's do it. So, I've been deciding to move more towards arena content. I've just been enjoying it more, but I do have one major issue that I will cover here. While I do love Brawl, I have major issues with the fact that I want to play these jankier versions of Niv. I want to play, you know, a Niv flying tribal deck, but I hate the concept of the Hellq. See right here, our first opponent here is an Esker God of the Tree, and I'll tell you what, I feel kind of slightly bad for them because they are also playing slight jank. They are playing, I believe, a Planeswalker deck. So let's start throwing out some Alchemy cards. Let's start with a specialized Baldur's Gate card, and what happens here will give us an opportunity. Then we can use Golden Opportunity. Immerwin gets Swords to Plowshared because, you know, our opponents hate Alchemy cards. We're hitting our land drops pretty well here, so let's just play the Golden Opportunity. Honk honk, make a goose. Our opponent, Binding of the Old Gods, they have double green, which means that they're going to be one turn slower getting the Prismatic Bridge. Ooh, a Razik. Yeah, we'll take him. So he is an Alchemy card that lets us conjure from his spellbook a knight whenever a knight attacks. Well, in this deck we only really have him. Prismatic Bridge comes down, so we could be dead in next turn if something crazy happens. Ah, but the Porcelain Porrent is pretty good. We can use the Adventure Side to exile the card. We'll conjure the History of Benelia with that pretty sick art. That's not the standard art, I don't think. Prismatic Bridge rolls and hits the Wandering Emperor. Fortunately, we have hexproof from black and white, so we can't actually exile us. And now our opponent at 2 times speed is going to take a very long duress, because they've got to read a whole book to understand what these cards are. They take our Reflecting Pool and make a Samurai. This adventure is actually instant speed, so we'll use this to get rid of that. Then we can attack in, get rid of the Wandering Emperor before she can make any more blockers. Cavalier of Dawn's a good hit. We can use that for hard removal on the bridge next turn, if we can untap. I decided it's just better to run out Niv. Let's get more Alchemy cards for them to read and mess with them. We'll take, right, so we have the first little piggy, assemble the team, the greater desert Hellion, and so on. Professor Onyx forces us to sack Niv, so let's play the first little piggy and he can om nom nom the Prismatic Bridge. Imagine that in a 4 comic. The Rainbow Road was ripped apart by a piggy going num num. We'll take another History of Benelia for fun. Now we can run out of Kyrell of Baldur's Gate. See what our opponent does here. They replay an entire Prismatic Bridge, so let's shock in a Breeding Pool. Attack in what we can, see what we conjure. Oh, we got to give it unblockable, so let's give it to the first little pig. And a Guardian of Faith, that's actually really good. That's kind of like a budget Teferi's Protection. We'll keep a land on top and use a Cavalier of Dawn to blow up their Prismatic Bridge so they get nothing. They lose everything. And we get our first Rage Quit. And I do feel bad, you know, our opponent was playing the Planeswalker version of this deck, which is fun when it goes off, but honestly this is what we came for. We just wanted to make people mad by having to read a lot of cards. Yes. So, what I will discuss, one of the issues I have with Historic, as you can see here, Historic, I feel, is purely based on the power of your commander. So if you are playing, you could be playing Rusko, because he's one of the strongest commanders ever, the Clockmaker, and you could be playing, for example, Clock Tribal, where every piece of art has something that shows the time, or a sundial. I don't know if that exists, but that seems like something a commander slash brawl player would create for fun. And you'll just get matched against fully optimized top tier, like, brawl decks every time because of the Hellq. I mean, Magic has insisted they're going to put effort into these formats, so what would I like to see? I would like to see maybe a Canadian Highlander thing where they look at your deck list in its entirety and actually rank it based on that. Oh, you have, you know, it's like the point system in Canadian Highlander. And I know I rank on about that, but I think that is what would be needed to be done. And you don't have to point every card in existence. You would just have to point powerful cards. And then you could use that as a matchmaking system. Oh, our opponent timed out, so I will stop my rant and we move on to the Golos. This is a card talking about saying the format that I think will probably have to go soon. You might say, why am I saying that? Because recently I've seen the rise of combo Golos. And what do you mean by combo Golos? Well, it is a Golos deck like you'll see here, where they will just ramp, cast Golos, get him out, get the World Tree out, get 10 mana, sack it, get every god. And it's basically kind of like the deck we have in, it's kind of like the Cascade deck that we had in Pioneer for a week. It's basically a removal check dot deck. So I'll talk through this match as we go, and I'll show you when it happens. So we have Killing Down and Lyra of the Flaming Fist that can give double team, which is a fun ability where if a double team creature attacks, you get to conjure a copy of it into your hand. You just gotta pay 3 mana to put it on the board. Opponent has a Ronus, but it can't attack or block yet, so we're pretty good here. I choose to run out the Navigation Orb, and since the activation is 1 here, I'm going to choose just to get it done. I could have gone for a activation of Lyra and get another copy of the Painter to my hand. I do make a mistake here. I take 2 gates, and I forget that one of these goes to my hand, which is going to mean next turn I can't actually just play an untapped land for the sake of it. But we'll get in and get a bit of damage down, see what our opponent does. 5 mana, they play a Goldspan Dragon and swing in because this can attack now, putting us down to 16. Play our land, we're going to have to put down our new here as a blocker. It can stonewall the thing. Reflecting Net is great, that's one of the new cards from Ixalan actually, I forgot to say. We've got to discard 2, so sorry Viconia and the other Baldur's Gate card. But needs must. Another God Ronus, doubling the power of all their creatures. So they get in here for an insane amount, so we'll block like this. They use all their mana here to pump the Goldspan Dragon to get more damage through. We're putting it back to command zone. We just got to fill up the board here. So Ropeline Attendant will give all our creatures the ability to enter with a 1/1 creature, and we'll just pass back. Reflecting Net has Flash, so I'm choosing to hold it back here to answer anything crazy that comes down. Here comes Golos. So now that I know they can't cast anything, I'm going to Reflecting Net. Misplay here by me. God Eternal Ronus. I forgot that if you exile him, his ability to reshuffle triggers as well. So they Golos here. Get to seek a land, but that's good for us though because they've shuffled away their Ronus. I'm going to run out a Kimmit and immediately get some triggers, and I'll specialize him. I will turn him after some consideration. What do I want to get? This in hindsight means nothing because I forget that. And I do a mana check here, 2, 4, 6, 8. So they are 3 lands away from going off. We discard red to make basically a Stuffy Doll blocker, play out a Metamorphic Slime. We have another card. Lyra the Flaming Fist also triggers on tokens. That's actually an interesting thing. I might have to build something around her or put her in the token deck, because it's got to be the same name of, which is obviously hard to attain in Brawl. They spin the wheel here, find a Paradise Druid, explore to try and find something and get a land down. They move to combat here, attack. Basically, I used to block everything here because I'm pretty sure they must have some shenanigans. Because I was thinking if they activated Golos, they might not be the combo deck, which was wishful thinking. We get 3 damage off Kimmit here, we'll put that on the Pinkie Pie's face. We get a Tasha, the Unholy Archmage. We see they only have 1 creature in the graveyard, so we use Tasha and -2 her. We get to steal the Goldspan Dragon. Then I'm going to activate Lyra the Flaming Fist. She'll give the Goldspan Dragon double team. We attack, triggering double team, making a treasure. Now we have another Goldspan Dragon in case this one dies. I choose to use the mana while we have it to use the spawning pool here, and we'll pass back. Our opponent now has enough mana because I forgot about the Paradise Druid in the time. So they play a tap land, activate the World Tree, and this is where like I think we're gonna see a ban on something, because this is what Golos does. It gets a World Tree and then it's just inevitability. It doesn't instantly win, but it just sets this up every time. Perforos gives them haste and it's just over. So we can see to move on to Slimefoot and Squee. Again, the Flaming Fist keeps coming up, man. They really love it. Right, we don't have red or white here, so I think we have to go down to 6. We can keep this hand. It's a bit tough, but we'll make it work. We get rid of the strike, play a tap land. Our opponent is on Slimefoot and Squee, so this is a sack reanimator deck. I believe I've seen them few versions of this. I suppose they couldn't maybe not ban Bolas, they could just go for a rebalance and just make him get a basic land. Yeah, they could do that. Lyra the Flaming Fist is out again. Maybe I need to do something with this deck with her. I'll put down a gate and conjure a land and a spawning pod. That's the one that's made another appearance several times on deck. So, Ferocious Exploration, we have to use these 2 cards next turn or we lose them. Definitely going to use the land. I don't think we'll use a spawning pool here. Opponent uses Assassin Trophy. The amount of people that just use really good removal on bad alchemy cards, and I don't know if it's purely hatred of alchemy cards or if they genuinely are like, because you know, here's a Rusco now and you've used your Assassin Trophy on a 2-2. It might be fear maybe of them thinking he's playing alchemy cards, he's got to have some ridiculous game ending combo. Nah, I'm literally just trolling for fun. Slimefoot and Squee come down, ETB makes a sapling. I check their graveyard, they haven't chucked any creatures away, so it's quite interesting. Play a creature. We could play Rashid here, but
reload.
I'm going to use Niv and reload. Carburetti Rebels is a powerhouse that you should run in every Brawl deck, not just the meme deck. And you'll see exactly why. If you're a creature-based deck, I should say. We also have High Marshal Argyle here. He is a very impressive card, so when he dies, you conjure the Argyle's Bloodfast and get to immediately flip it. For those who don't know, the flip Bloodfast lets you just tap a land, sack a creature, gain life. It's really good. Our opponent, Diabolic Intense, puts Squee into the graveyard. Squee has the ability to come back and bring a creature with him if you activate his ability. So we're going to have to put a bit of a haste on this one. Our opponent could still just be reading all of our alchemy cards. I have had opponents playing this deck casually when I've not been recording. I have had opponents where I have cast Niv, they've seen a handful of alchemy cards and they have just timed out. Now I like to think that's just because they can't read fast enough. It's probably just because they're like, nah man, I ain't dealing with alchemy. Right, Carburetti Revels. So whenever we cast a creature now, we reverse Birthing Pod. So let's get High Marshal Argyle down. And we find our Skull Piercer Gant. Really good creature, 1 toxic, and gives a spell in their hand toxic 1 if they cast it. Defense of the Heart comes down, so opponent is probably liking to go off of some kind of combo here. So in response to that, we swing in with everything. Let's see how they block. They could easily kill Argyle here, but they don't. They choose to block in a way that keeps everyone alive. So clearly they want that to detonate, so we'll begin anew. So that Defense of the Heart won't trigger. We'll transform the Bloodfast into Temple of whatever. Now we get to see what we want to do here. They play Primal Vigor, which will double our tokens and theirs. So our Painter in our hand is really good now. I can use Tasha here actually and -2 her to get something out of their graveyard, so let's do that. I play Norn's Disassembly here. The reason I don't cast a creature is Carve Ready Revel is not a May, so we will get 2 more creatures and trigger Defense of the Heart, and I am very worried about their combo potential. Ooh, they play Gruff Triplets, making 4 triplets. Very interesting. They could easily go off here. I consider my options, but then decide, you know, a fresh 7 is just the best. And we get Minsk and Boo and the Great Hellion, which means that we now have everything we need. So, play the Great Hellion, we get a Kalenian off the Reverse Cascade, 2 Boos, we'll plus the thing, then we will Minsk and Boo throw a Hellion at their face to win the match. So Alchemy cards were doing pretty good work there. We'll come back to this one every time we get a new Alchemy set for fun, but I hope you enjoyed trolling with nothing but Alchemy cards. Yes, I know, I am a monster.